entrepreneurs in Africa without the enterprises. And as we keep asking, in Ghana, we've been looking for enterprises, indigenous enterprises that are older than 70 years. And we've been having challenges to find very vibrant ones. And I think we in LVS Africa are well positioned to ensure that these enterprises outlive their first and second generations. So, with relationships that we are building with people like all of you at the other side, we believe these enterprises will thrive and move from one generation to the other.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good morning to Dr. Miguel Rodriguez. Also is sending his greetings from Florida, down by Legoland, and of course, Florida's natural orange juice, the world headquarters. Also from New York, Patty Frudenberg. Thank you so much. We did have a little slow start here this morning. If you were looking for our live stream, it is now streaming. There were some technical problems. A couple of people got booted off repeatedly and one microphone problem. So thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to bring up LVS Africa for people to take a look at. It is just lvsafrica.com if you're trying to get to their website. And let me share with you and show you their website, and you will see the people who are on with us today. You can go in, take a look at the profiles at LVS Africa, and it kind of looks like this: //www.lvsafrica.com. It is a secure socket layer website, which is what you would expect, and you will be able to see everything going on. The About Us, our core services, their target clients, and then, of course, the profiles of the individuals who are on today. And I like Chief Al-Hassan Andani's tagline here: successful enterprises create sustainable value for generations, owners, and stakeholders. Chief, would you like to comment on that?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, so for example, I always say, if for starters, take a very young companies like your Googles and co. I mean, so just Google, which was formed in our lifetime, already have turnovers in excess of the total GDP of a couple of African countries put together. That's a tragedy. Now you have to track back to all the global 500 Fortune companies. These have turnover and net profits and to shareholders far in excess of the GDP of Africa. So what's happening when all of these opportunities abound? Why aren't we able to create these successful enterprises that will provide returns to owners and stakeholders? So, for example, I spent all my life in banking. I did some time with Standard Chartered. Standard Chartered is over 200 plus years. Still going strong and adapting and innovating to stay ahead of the crowd and employing people and generating value across the universe, across the globe. Barclays Bank, I spent time with them, over 300 years old enterprise and still going very strong. Standard Bank, an African enterprise, quite an African success story. Standard Bank was formed in the Eastern Cape, Western Cape somewhere in South Africa. They are over 167 years old, still going strong. But if you come into indigenous Africa, where we have all the mineral resources, all the oil and gas resources, huge opportunities in agriculture, we just haven't got kind of enterprises that would endure. And the few that are here keeping our economies together, thankfully, are multinational companies. We want the multinational standards to rub off and also integrate into local enterprises to create value. So that's really our charge across Africa. We are currently in Ghana. We just established in Nigeria, and we will be trying to establish in at least the 5 key economies in South Africa, Kenya, Mozambique, Ghana, South Africa, and Ghana. So, this is who we are. And largely, we want, our work is very experiential. So I spent almost 30 plus years in banking. Over 20 years of it was in executive management, 14 years as executive director, chief executive of the fastest growing bank in Ghana, Standard Bank or Stanbic Ghana. You can Google that. I took that job in 2006 and retired in 2020. And in my life, I've seen and impacted significantly a lot of companies. And I want to see this translated into private enterprises in Africa. And also to try and give comfort to external shareholders or investors who would want to put their resources in Africa, and try to manage the perceived risk of Africa. I can tell you that there are very successful multinationals here who have been here for hundreds of years, made lots of money, but we do still have some overhang of risk that is sort of putting off some marginal investors. And we want to be able to interact with these kind of investors to allay their fears and give them safe sort of landing to take advantage of the investment opportunities here with great returns. I mean, one of the things you would realize in Africa is our returns on investment, whether it's in banking services, it's much higher than what you get anywhere else in the world. Even we're able to pay for the very high risk premium that is imposed on African enterprises, especially in capital raisings. They still hold their own in terms of return on equity and all of the other investment measures that you can imagine. Yeah, so I'll pause here and then pick up from colleagues.
I would just like to say absolutely. I have found you guys working with you to be very serious, very educated. Your mission, your vision, your goals are typical of dealing with a German investment or an English investment or in Switzerland or in the United States. I have not found or seen any gaps. In fact, Chairman Kojo, he and I were working on a document one day, and he said there's a period missing here, and you don't have that capitalized there. Very precise, very intelligent, very educated. These myths that some people have about being ripped off in Africa, and you're dealing with dirty children running around barefoot, wearing third world country clothes and sleeping in a hut. I've shown a few folks some of our videos, and they were shocked and said, "Is that from Africa? That stadium?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a stadium. It's brand new. It looks futuristic." "What about those skyscrapers with the glistening mirror finish?" I was like, "Yes, those buildings are from Africa." You're looking, go on Google Maps and drive around the streets of Accra. Go to the Marriott Hotel and see how beautiful the flowers and the potters are out front, and the concrete and the blacktop. You may have like 50-year-old ideas of Africa from watching Sally Struthers on television, begging Americans for money with dirty children around her legs, and the typical white lady with blonde hair on TV. This is not what we're dealing with. Look, I got Elisa laughing to death now. Elisa, just go off. Help me out here and
Oh, Marvin, you know how I adore you, and I love this is what you and I have in common, that you either love us or hate us. We're going to tell it like it is. And so I'm chuckling and falling over here on my chair because you're saying exactly the truth. We want to look at, because I'm in the Phoenix area, and no one shows you the blocks of homeless people in the Phoenix area downtown, literally, like in our capital, right? There's just tents and homeless people in 120, 30, and 20, But for Africa, when we think of Africa, we're always thinking about how can we do charity? How can we do aid? And so those images that you described is what everyone thinks of Africa, but it's not. And David and I have been connected for 3 years now, almost to date. And he's literally, I haven't touched the soil. I post everywhere on social media. Look, when my feet touch the soil, good luck if I get back, right? David has taken me on tours around Accra and parts of Ghana. And then also my other friends and partners who, like, when we worked on the school project and things like that, here's the thing. Africa is definitely the prime place for investment. I'm going to repeat that. Africa is the prime place for investment. And it's not because I just say so. Listen, I did my research years ago. Anyone who knows me knows that a major part of the work that I do, almost 75%, is backed up on my mission and goal in Africa as not just a philanthropist or a speaker or a coach, someone who's passionate about socio-economic development, but also as an entrepreneur. Here's what happened. Like in 2021, the African Development Bank said that the GDP will rebound with a 3.4%, but that's not all. Jim O'Neill, former Goldman Sachs economist, said that Africa represents the last significant untapped emerging market in the world. Did you hear what I said? The last significant untapped emerging market in the world. And you're like, well, why? Why do you say that? Everyone knows about all the natural resources that are in abundance in Africa, like oil, minerals, arable space, land. Listen, I'm wild about the land. And so not just that, here's the other resource. And this is why when I met David in 2020, I immediately connected with his vision. And to sit here on this platform today, as we are talking about the African Investment Summit that is going to take place in Las Vegas, is no surprise. He was going to do this. He was just going to do it. And so he's here with the rest of us, with you, Martin, and all of this. But I remember having those conversations when David's vision was what he had, and he had the faith to push, right? He knew something that McKinsey said. Africa's abundance is also the youthful demographic that's there. This is what DDLF represents. My first project, global project of working with youth, was initiated with the DDLF platform because of the very rich resource of the youthful population, which is a medium age of about 19 years old. And you're like, what does that have to do with anything, Dr. Elisa? Well, as a global workforce strategist, when you say that we have youth to invest in, I connect socioeconomic growth if we invest correct. So you're not just investing in minerals and oils and land. When we talk investing, we're talking about investing into that youthful demographic. Why? As Aliko said, one of Africa's most prominent entrepreneurs, he said that the young population is an asset for the continent's future, because we can invest in minerals, but who's going to cultivate? Who is going to grow everything? It's going to be humans. And let's face it, I'm not so old, but I'm not so young. I need young people with the same vision or even better vision to invest in. And so that's what DDLF started off with. Very brilliant. And I joined that. Okay. The other thing is the infrastructural development. In Africa's infrastructure, it's the biggest thing on the continent. A lot of people know that celebrities are going back to Africa. They're not just going to the motherland because it's cute and it's beautiful. They're actually investing their money for later return. When they can't sing and dance and shoot movies anymore, they know that the property and the land that's there in Africa is something that's going to bring them massive return. The African Development Bank said that Africa requires substantial infrastructure investment to boost the economic growth. Why don't you want to be a part of that? Listen, one thing I've learned is that there's two different types of problem when it comes to money. Rich people have money problems, and people who are poor and sometimes middle income have money problems too. The difference is the middle income and the poor class, we are hustling to try to find money. That group of people, they're looking to how do I get more money? How do I get more money? Rich people, I know, I'm speaking to you, investors that are watching us. Your problem is, where do I invest my money? So I'm going to answer the question for both parties right now. Is the people, the investors and the rich people who have money who are listening to us, and if you know a rich person, just share this video with them, is you can invest your money in Africa. You can invest in Africa, and I guarantee you will get returns. There are rich people saying, listen, I want to invest, but I want to make sure people will manage the money, the financial resource I'm going to put to ensure that it reaches the right people. The right people are the young people. Platforms like DDF and hundreds of others that I've even interact with will ensure that we bring the natural resource of youth and individuals who are in lower socioeconomic circumstances. So the rich money is now being used and it will solve both problems. Again, the next thing, emerging technology hubs. African countries are becoming technology hubs. I was just talking to one of my friends about outsourcing my technological needs, my designing needs to Africa. And don't nobody get mad at me. I'm saying the truth. Some of the best productions I've seen come out in the world has come from African youth and Africans with very limited resources. They don't even have all the software that I have. So we want to look at putting startup hubs. I've just become an international advisor also with the Ugambi Leadership Center in Nigeria, where the African youth is being invested in from that platform, because these young men and women are developing and breaking the code of how electricity, listen, they're inventors. So if you have your money and you need to figure out a way to invest, it's to invest in these individuals on the African continent. Y'all know I can go on and on and on about reasons to invest. Okay, will catch me later. But the key point I want us to think about as you hear me speak today, and you can go fact check everything I just said, is you don't even have to be a millionaire. You don't even have to be a middle income, a high middle income right now. If you're listening to me, I'm here in the United States. When I started my journey of investing in Africa, and Martine, he will tell you a million ways. So if you're wondering, you could connect with Martine. I'm throwing him on the bus to do extra work because he already got to deal with David and I and the rest of us. But he knows exactly how to do it.
It bounces off of me and goes right to LVS Africa. So
there you go. And just $5, $10, I tell individuals, the school that I was able to work with to build in Ghana, in Yiji, Ghana, it didn't even cost me a full 5,000. Okay. So investing in Africa, it's gonna cost us money, but you don't have to be a millionaire, or you're just listening to us and you're like, okay, I got an extra 1,000, I got 500. You can invest in Africa. Come to Las Vegas. Let's tell you how.
Absolutely. I mean, we have had investments just $5 from people, and when we announced yesterday that we hit the 2 billion mark of investments, I mean, people are asking me now, what are you talking about joining the $3 billion club? I'm like, well, we went past 2 billion. You know, we did $200,000 into True Moringa and Accra. We are currently investing in Jibu Water in Accra with Carl. We have palm farms, all, you know, investments all over Africa, as little as $5. If you have $25, if you have $500, if you have $5 million, you need to be talking with us. You need to come to the expos, wherever they're held in Las Vegas, in Africa, in Ghana, in Asia. And yes, for the people who are asking, are you going to be doing one in Europe? Yes, in Europe, we will be doing it. I would like to just shift back over to showcasing the business modeling service from LVS Africa. We've been running some sliders down here at the bottom, and they have a number of different services that they are showcasing. Let me see if I can showcase that for everybody here and bring it up, because these guys are pretty swift. And here you can see their core services at LVS Africa of business modeling services. Would you guys like to talk about your design of an appropriate business model and how you fit it into, you know, the investment itself, or the industry and the investor? What do you think, Kojo or Chief Andani?
Okay. Yeah. So every business must have the right model, and we help we help businesses to find the right niche, and whether it is market entry or growth, we help the businesses to do that. If you are in a plateau stage and maybe you have to remodel and either enter new markets or get into new products, those are the things that we get the experts to help businesses to get done.
Yeah, and I see you guys have here that you are willing to even reimagine an enterprise business model. So it's not just fresh deals coming to you. You're willing to accept an old deal and maybe reimagine how it could do better.
Exactly.
That's nice. That's nice. Also, the leadership and strategy formulation. I know with the David Douglas Leadership Forum. David, would you like to give a few comments about the success of the David Douglas Leadership Forum? You have had so many speakers on, so many fantastic guest speakers. I'm tuning in every Sunday now, learning from African leaders, and that's what I've recommended to a lot of white people. Don't be afraid to tune in and learn from African leaders. They have massive gifts to offer. David, would you like to comment about that?
Thank you very much, Marty. One of the organizations we work with is the John Maxwell Certified Team Members. And John Maxwell said something which is crucial to leadership. He says everything rises and falls on leadership. Doing business without leadership cannot be successful. And you may not be able to impact the people that you need to impact and reach out to your audience. We have been in this leadership space for almost 3 years now, but that is not exactly when we started. We've been doing it, but I would say when we gained the global recognition for what we're doing is for about 3 years now. Alisa has been on the platform. She spoke about it, and I love everything that she shared with us. Leadership is very important, looking at where we are now as people, as nation, continent, and globally. Without leadership, we may not be able to, be successful in all that we do. In your business setup, leadership is very, very important. And looking at the youth we have today, if you can leave any legacy behind what you're doing today, then impacting the youth in terms of leadership is very, very important. The youth we have today form a large number of the human population across the globe. And looking at the things that they bring to the table or their contribution in terms of personal development and others, if you have to look at that today as compared to our forefathers, how we were brought up, the kind of training and the kind of education that they gave us, you realize that so many things are changing. And for that reason, it is important for us to go back to the drawing table, find out what is missing. Because I was driving with a friend when I was coming on, and we were talking about how you can get people, train them, and for them to be able to do what you want them to do. It is difficult these days that, when you're working with a team, you're working with youth, and you have to, leave your back or ask them to do something for you. And for them to do exactly what you want them to do without you being present, it's very difficult. And these are the things that we have realized as an organization. And we thought it wise that we should set up this platform to be able to touch base with the youth and give them the necessary training that is needed in terms of leadership. And since our inception, we've worked with so many organizations. As Alisa will agree with us, we've been with the Arizona State University with a program she brought on board. And we gave scholarship to about 40 students at the time. and we keep doing that. Tenderbird School of Global Management has been part of it. And then we recently signed up with the International University of Entrepreneurology. We've worked with most senior high schools in Ghana. The recent conference we had was at Achimota Senior High School, and we had about 15 senior high schools in representation. We've been having our weekly leadership, seminar every Sunday between the hours of 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. depending on your geographical location. That will be 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. CST and 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. EST. And all that we want to achieve is how we can also add value in terms of leadership. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And I'd like to head on over to Asia with investments and some input on making investment decisions to the Asia chairperson, Juan Farah in Kuala Lumpur. Are you able to reach us? She is having some difficulty maintaining a connection today on the satellite, has bumped her a few times. You may want to switch over to an undersea cable, Farah. Anyway, let me run back to, I would like to run back to taking a look at the leadership and strategy formulation, because every Sunday for those of us on the Eastern Seaboard, you can tune in to the David Douglas Leadership Forum, and you will be able to come on to Zoom and join us face to face. David is doing a fantastic job, David Douglas Tengi, and that is essentially at 8 p.m. at night. Is it not, David, at 8 p.m. In Ghana? Or what time are you starting in Ghana?
No, that is 7 p.m. in Ghana.
That's
to 8
right.
p.m. It is 1 hour session every Sunday.
Okay. And I think we need to be careful. The Americans, we're getting ready to do fall back here. I don't know. Does Arizona still participate, or do you boycott?
No, we don't. That's the thing I love about Arizona. We stay on the same time zone. All that changing is just not good for the.
Yeah, like India is so easy to work with. I know we're going to have Manu Seth on next week in part 2 of this show. India has the same time zone for the whole country. Farah, over to you now to talk about some input on making investment decisions. You're just coming down off stage with KPMG and a massive conference there with the accountants. Over to you, Farah.
Thank you so much, Marty, and hello again, everyone. I thought I'd just share some inputs from my side. Having gone through some 100 deals from Southeast Asia, and from those 100 deals, we have shortlisted them to become 50, and from those 50, we shortlisted them to become 20, and then to 10. And this particular event is actually being organized by a district in Beijing under Chaoyang. So what most of the investors and judges, what they look into when they want to assess a particular investment is how strong is your value proposition? How would you differentiate yourself from your competitors? And the second one is that what is the market demand for your solutions and product? What is the TAM, SAM, and SOM? That is the total addressable market, serviceable addressable market, and serviceable obtainable market. Yeah. So we have to differentiate those types of market demands. And the third one is what kind of returns will you be giving to the investors? You also have to clearly state how much funds you're looking for what percentage, and how the funds are going to be used and utilized. And you have to explain your go-to-market strategies and your revenue model, clearly explaining how the business will be making its money and how it will be giving back, increasing the net shareholders' worth. And also, of late, we see a rise of investors in the impact investing and ESG. So especially, I think there's a lot of investments from Africa that is very high in impact in terms of social and economy and agriculture and all that. So there's a lot of how do you say, exposure in terms of ESG and impact investing that the investors can capitalize on with investments coming from Africa. So that's a little bit of information that I think I can share with all of you. And furthermore, if you want to, just go through with me, I'd be happy to help wherever I can. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Farah, just to quantify that, that was a business pitch competition contest, much like we are proposing for the world, the Africa football goal kick business pitch competition. You sat there judging 100 different business plans, pro forma proposals, pitch decks, and then, as you said, you winnowed that down to 50, and then 25 finalists actually competed. Can you tell us, are you allowed to talk about the top 3 winners at all? Is that allowed to be mentioned? She may have froze up on us again, guys. She looks perfectly frozen right there. but I think it is important to have your pro forma together. I've been writing business plans for almost 20 years, and 60 pages typically is pro forma. The slightest change in something will shingle across all 60 pages, one number, one page, one item, and your deck. I saw Farah move. So we had a question for you, Farah, if you do come back to us. If you're able to hear us, are you allowed to speak about the top 3 winners, Farah?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I think my broadband here is a bit slow, so you have to bear with me. Sorry, that the network here is a bit slow. Yeah.
No problem. Let me shoot up to Chief Andani then, if he would mind talking about one of his more favorite investments, Chief, that you have recently seen. Do you have a favorite that you're really tracking on right now?
Yes, but just wanted to drop back onto a comment or comment a bit on Dr. Lisa's pitch for investment opportunities in Africa, and also the fact that it's the last frontier. It actually is the last frontier for the real sector investments, and I think for us, this forum will be investors know what they want. I mean, in terms of because they invest globally. What we have to sort of address are the myths around Africa, the myths around Africa. It's and we're not. It's not a charity we're looking for. We're looking for real star successes. Just to say that I spent 25 years of my career working with global banks, and in terms of return on equity, in terms of all the financial measures on a dollar basis, African businesses stood very, very strong. I mean, you may not have the scale of a US operation, of an OECD operation, but if, per capital, per return on capital in dollars, the African businesses were returning much higher ROEs. I mean, you still have ROE returns, internal rates of returns in Africa north of 25, 27% in dollars. I don't see that on any investments across maybe the new technology areas, yes, because of, you're creaming the market with something that never existed. But for the old markets, whichever sector you are looking at in terms of investment grade returns, Africa offers that. And also because of the benefit of ICT and digitalization. You're talking to me right in my office. I'm not sitting under a tree. So, yes, we should be able to showcase Africa. Yes, I mean it's not a land. I mean, it's land of honey, especially when it comes to investment opportunities. But we need to create successful enterprises where we share the global wealth, in Africa, and therefore the poverty levels with youth unemployment, with infrastructure development around our community can improve out of value addition to investments that we all looking to bring into Africa. Having said that, look, we have quite a spread of investment opportunities that we would be presenting in the energy sector. We have my pet project, which we've been running with for 4 years now, is just trying to do a hybrid solar hydro project. I think the total investment there would be about $150–160 million, not very large, but it is very interesting project. It gives us a renewable energy supply into through the hydro with the solar. Then it gives us hydro, which provides us a waterhead for agriculture. And this is happening in the middle of Ghana. So the social ESG impact is huge. We're looking to do agriculture, ecotourism. It will be a kind of economic enclave within a massive forest area where you can retain the forest cover and open up for youth to get into intensive agriculture. So it's a multi-purpose investment that we're looking for technical partners to come. We already have one of the state utilities, which is called the Bui Power Authority, which has provided the anchor in terms of providing all the statutory approvals for the generation of the solar hydro plant. But in terms of the use, some of this power would go into a mining company that will stop burning fossil fuels for their energy requirements. But most importantly for us, it will open up a huge irrigated agricultural pool for the youth, and especially women and children. Women in these areas go through quite a bit to support homes. I mean, ironically, in Africa, the women, our mothers, are the economic engines of our homes. If you gave 100 CDs to an African woman, she would multiply 500
Come
CDs.
on now.
She would multiply 500 CDs and send their kids to school. The African man with 100 CDs might go off and find some other wife or drink a lot of alcohol. But yeah, so this would open up opportunities for the women to have.
Your Excellency, Chief, I have a question for you. Quick question. I want you to shed light on this, if I would be allowed by the rest of our esteemed panelists. How have we prepared for the investment? Because here's the thing, for folks who do not know, who still have the uncertain pleasure of thinking that it's, as you said, it's a charity. When it comes to Africa charity, it's not. We know that. But how have we as a continent, if you want to speak, or maybe for your familiarity with your community, how have we prepared for these investments? Because that's the one thing that I can shed light on, but it's better if we get you to say it. How have you prepared for these investments, like as a nation, as a community, as a village?
Number one is the global investment laws. I mean, the investment laws in Ghana are global. We've gleaned it from the best around the world. So if you came through the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, you can Google the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. In terms of your entry requirements and the legal protections and your tax and all the things that they are clearly laid out, there is no prevarication on it. And the processes, registering a business in Ghana now is down to about maximum 25 days. You should get all of your paperwork, and the legal framework is clear and strict, and contracts are enforceable. That's number one. That's what would make any global investor. I'm putting my money away. Is it legally protected? Yes. Are we are subject to English courts, laws of arbitration. Yeah, so we are quite globally integrated into the global corporate governance and legal system. That's number one. Number two is the use of land. Use of land for most of these communities. The beauty is that in Ghana, it's an emerging democracy, and therefore people are moving away from governance to real production. So chiefs and their people are owning their lands and looking to partner with people where they can let out this land on very structured basis. You are not harassed when you are properly acquired to use the land properly. So land use is also, reasonably well managed, and the legal structures are there to protect you. In terms of labor, we've got quite a highly educated, community. And again, most of our diasporan people who have acquired work ethic around the world are all very eager to come back to Ghana. So you have a reasonable spread of people to employ. And also the country allows you to bring in expertise. We don't profess to have all of the talent, Within the investment profile, we're allowed to bring in expertise from around the world to help you shepherd your investments. So yeah, the structures are in place. Our market is very well integrated into the West Africa market area. 250 million people, 400 million people, including Nigeria, and of course, the African Free Continental Trade allows you to trade products and services across Africa. Plus, Accra, Ghana is only 5 hours away from Europe. and therefore for any exports into continental Europe, you are in any of those airports within 6 hours. Literally all the major airlines coming to Accra, and therefore your global connectivity and also shipping is very, very well developed. So that's what I would say in terms of our preparedness for these investments.
I think you guys talk about that quite well here on your website, the legal, regulatory, governments, and compliance services.
Yes.
How you build in-depth sector legal and regulatory expertise into your development. You've got the setting up and enforcing of corporate and institutional governance. Like I said, my impression of dealing with LVS Africa is very serious, very educated. We'll have some other guests like Chief Nana, who went to college in England. His bank sent him there to go to college in England. Very impressive. And the thoughts about being ripped off and whatnot, no, they're just not there.
No. And just coming back to the pet projects, I think there's a particular project that I think would be very of great interest to some of our investors. We try, Ghana is now producing oil and gas, and we know where the oil and gas is. We literally share the border less than 10 kilometers with Cote d'Ivoire. So there's this effort to develop a petroleum hub that will house refineries, that will house, it's quite a complex of services that will be in this particular hub. You can have a 30-year concession to develop within the hub. We're looking for about $1 billion, and the rates of returns are very, very strong. Very strong governmental support. The government has set up the Petroleum Development Hub Authority, but all they do is just own the land and lease it out to the private sector people to go through with building all the jetties and the storage facilities, the petroleum refineries, then all the ancillary industries. It's on a huge about over 20 square kilometers of land, just at the tip of the Ghana-Cote d'Ivoire border. Those of us who Google the map will see it. So it's quite a serious project that we think we'll want to present as well. We do have real estate. It's still very strong in Accra. Accra just happens to be is a Hollywood for West Africa. All the rich Nigerians and our friends in sub-region would like to have their homes in Accra. So opportunities for luxury apartment, mid-tier market apartments, and more affordable apartments, as we spread out into the city. Great returns on real estate. I mean, for example, in Ghana, you can recover your entire real estate investments in 10 to 15 years. I know in other parts of the world, you're probably looking 20 plus years to recover your returns on real estate development. But in Ghana, in Accra, generally because of the demand from other West African countries, your rate of return and payback periods on these investments are pretty short and very attractive. So those are the critical areas. And again, if you look at the manufacturing sector, food and beverages, we produce a lot of, all the cereals, maize, soybean, granules, and the value addition to all of these for global consumption. We probably have the sweetest pineapples that you can ever taste around the world. And these are all.
I think, Chief, on the agricultural side, what a lot of people don't know across the earth is that Africa actually has the capability to feed the entire continent and actually feed large portions of the world. The rainfall, the wind patterns, the soil analysis, the growth rate. Agriculturally, what people have never heard is that Africa has the capability to feed all 55 countries, but then other huge swaths of Europe, other portions of the earth. The agricultural output algorithmically, formulaically is there and been proven repeatedly time and again with soil analysis, rainfall, sun pattern, wind, all of that. And that's what we're trying to get to. People have told me, like, Marty, understand as a white from America, we are sick and tired of having planes land here, unloading pallets with boxes, handing out food. I have a billionaire friend, Sheikh Kieta in Africa, has told me this many times. We want to grow our own food and take care of ourselves and put an end to planes landing. And when there is a huge problem like in Sudan or Ethiopia or a flood or whatever disaster occurs, we will go there from the Africa Union and we will take care of the problem with food, with aid, with shelter, with blankets, with whatever is needed. We love and we thank all of this assistance and help and the brand new $30 billion program from America. But we have the capability to do this. And that is a remarkable thing. And I was wondering if are we going to be able to show the investment document today? Are you guys able to bring that up on screen?
While we do that, Martine, I want to comment on what you said about bringing the aid versus empowering the individuals. One of the things as a child I was raised hearing, and I adapted and take it wholly, is, and I'll give you my version, is that it's better to teach a child how to fish or a person how to fish versus then bringing them a load of fish, because their food supply is only going to be for as long as you're available or able to do that. And so this is why I go and my work leads with mindset disruption. And when David and I connected in 2020, one of the things as I spoke with His Excellency Chief Anandi is the preparation has been with a lot of our African communities is how do you take what you have in your hand? And when David and I talked about starting, when he launched the DDL platform and we did the entrepreneurial program for the youth, we had youth who were master degree levels at age 22, 23. But the understanding we wanted them to have was from the mindset is we're going to teach you how to think as being an empowered person. So you're not like this. In my home country, where I'm from, Guyana, South America, one of the things we looked at is like we had so much natural resort, but we're sitting on a big, nice plump, a golden bench, and our hands are out like this. And so what has happened over the years with the African communities on a general stance, of course, is where we have people approaching us now, not for aid, but for investment, right? And so the preparation has been from what Chief Anandi said is here. We have been making room and we've been ready for you. Come bring your dollars and even some of your ideas, but we're prepared to manage that fund and bring you back over 300% on your investment in a lot of times less than 5 years. So this conversation is so important. I'm going to go ahead and let you all, but the point I want to make is how we think as a people. And with the mobility is you don't have to wait for perfect. You can get started now. This is why I'm saying, whether you're a multi-million-dollar investor or you're a $500 or even a $50 level investor, you want to invest in Africa. Start with us.
Absolutely. I'm going to break for a commercial. When I come back, I have this project portfolio and investment opportunities up now. We're going to start off just quickly today, and we will be having part 2 next week for us to join in. This is a 2-part mini series, but today we're going to take a look at a couple of these, starting off with energy sector projects. And there is a hybrid solar hydro renewable energy project, a thermal and solar energy project, a regional petroleum hub. Just give us a second. When we come back, get a coffee, get something to drink. We'll be right back with you here in a second. We would like to showcase, a couple of these investments so that people can take a look at them. This is very important. And then we will continue with this in part 2 next week. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, I am Ambassador Prince Kojo Hilton, a visual artist, a filmmaker, and a theater practitioner. Check out the new film festival, the U.S. Presidential Service Center, on Film Freeway.
Your investment is repaid and a profit is made equals Africa's success.
Let's play a game. खेल भी?
You know what? ये लाइफ सेट वाली लाइन है. It's a scam.
Yun nga, Madla.
सारा लाइफ सेट करते करते पूरी लाइफ ही बैलेंस हो जाती है.
Hey, Chef out here. Want to tell you about my Amazon best-selling memoir cookbook, A Chef is Born, chock full of recipes. Also ranked the 77th book of all time out of 99, according to the Book Authority.
It's a good book, but I do a better chef than you.
Yeah.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall,
Well, my friends, we are back again, and thank you for joining us and holding on for the commercials. Our sponsors who pay for the viewing and the streaming, we thank you so much. We have, of course, with us now Chairman Kojo Mata. And Kojo, I wanted to bring up that document to share with people on the investments. You guys spent so much time putting this together recently and professionalizing it. What are you going to be showing us today?
Okay, so Marty, I just want to let our viewers into 3 of the projects that we want to showcase for this afternoon. One in the real estate sector, which we call luxury residential villas. It's a high-end 36 villa project on a 13-acre land at the very prime residential enclave in Accra. This project has already started. There are strong expressions of interest, and 5 of them have already been sold out. The promoters are looking for about $45 million to complete it. And within 3 years, the investors will recover their investment with very handsome returns on it. So any investor who is interested will provide fuller details. There is another project in the healthcare sector, which is a very top-end hospital in Ghana that is looking for investment for its expansion works. It's been operating for the past 20 years. It's one of the top hospitals in the country and serves the West African sub-region and beyond, very specialized services. And they've done the expansion work, the infrastructure already, but looking for funding to complete minor civil works and electrical, mechanical, and plumbing works, and also to procure the medical equipment, looking for about 16 million for this. And within the first 8 years, payback will be completed. Very good returns, a very profitable hospital, private hospital. The third one I would like to let our viewers into is a uni apparel manufacturing company. It's been operating for the past 10 or so years, but looking for expansion that will take advantage of the Africa Growth Opportunities Initiative that will provide or produce apparel for the US market, and looking for about 3.5 million to complete this expansion. The factory has been done and roofing is in progress, and looking for working capital and investment to purchase the needed equipment for the expansion. So this one too, we're looking at payback within 3 to 4 years. Very good returns on this project. Matty, I don't know if I have time to slot in another one, which is a 3-star.
Absolutely, I do. I do see the financial returns here is very nice. And by year 5, the present value is at 4.3 million here. So just highlighting this. Go ahead, Kojo.
Very good. So very good returns on the projects I've mentioned. And the last one is a 3-star hotel located in the heart of the airport enclave in Accra, and is available for sale. It has about more than 150 rooms, standard, superior, etc., executive and presidential suites. Has all the facilities that you can think of in a modern hotel. It's up for sale, and the price is negotiable. Interested investors should link up with us, and we'll let all the details after all the necessary agreements. We'll let them know all the details. On the heels of this 3-star hotel, we are also looking at a hospitality training institute. This place, they already have an industrial kitchen. Is
I'm
also
getting
in Accra.
excited over here. I mentioned
Very
to
good.
you how excited I am about this.
Yes. So they already have an industrial, Italian equipped industrial kitchen that can produce more than 5,000 meals a day, and is operational. However, the operator wants to add a hospitality training institute to a tourism and hospitality training institute to it. What we realize is the service qualities are not across the tourism and hotel industry. We think there is a lot of room for improvement, and we find this to be a good opportunity to up the game as far as the services in the hotel industry is concerned. And the returns are very good, and the promoter is looking for about 3.5 million to complete it. The land is already there, the kitchen side is there. And one other thing that we are looking at for this is most of the hotels and the Hotels Association has agreed that if this comes on board, their premises and other places can even be used as part of the faculty. So it's not everything that will be taking place in this institute. The hotels are available and are ready to partner for this project.
Yeah,
So, Marty,
that's
these are the
exciting.
things.
I was going to say, Kojo, that's exciting because even when I've gone to inspect universities across the world for accreditation, it's required that we go out and interview their industry panel and interview students. And then we get feedback from the industry panel that says, yeah, I'm out here running the Holiday Inn in Accra. I'm running the Marriott in Accra. I'm on their industry panel board, and this is what we're seeing, and this is what we're not getting out of the students, and this is what we are noticing the students are not prepared for when they arrive here. And they'll tell me, like, Marty, we hired 14 last year who graduated from the university that I may be at that day or week inspecting. And these are the great things that we're seeing, that the students are well trained for and prepared for. And when you mentioned that, Kojo, that's so important because that's how you sculpt, carve, and shape exactly what industry needs right now. And as the general managers and the executive chefs at the facilities and other hotels all around Accra and Ghana and the region and Togo, and they come back to you and tell you, like, this is now a new trend that we're having to really, could you build this into the curriculum? I know you have the curriculum already, but we need this as happening. Okay, grab and go is becoming very, very popular. We need more of that with the packaged meals or the sandwiches where they can buy that up at the refrigerated section of the hotel, which is usually off to the side. So as new trends occur, whether it's in coffee preparation, and certainly Ethiopian coffee is known all over the world, and Kenyan coffee. But, as new trends occur, the Institute can change nimbly on its feet quickly. That is so important.
Exactly. That's very.
And this document will be made available to anybody. This is actually going live on the website today at africainvestmentexpo.com. I know people like Manu, Seth have been asking, hey, can we get a copy of everything that is going on at LVS Africa? I've even had people ask me exactly what is the address for Africa Investment Expo. We've had several questions come in. Would you please put up over 12 questions? The address for LVS Africa again. I didn't get it. And if you're watching this on rerun, please take note. LVSAfrica.com is where you want to go. Don't worry about David Douglas Leadership Forum. They have a direct connection via Africa Investment Expo.com with DDLF and LVS Africa. So I know there were a couple of people worried about that. They said, are we going to be bypassing David? We don't want to do that. No, you're not bypassing David. Don't worry about that. But this document will be available. And for our Indian and Asian investors, you'll be able to pull this up and take a look at it today live on the website. Any parting comments from David? Would you like to talk about the Africa Investment Expo a little bit, David, and trying to move this around the world to now host one in Asia and obviously host one in Africa and the one that we are planning in Las Vegas? And then these calls and questions, David, why are you guys not going to do one in Europe? It's like, guys, I mean, we're just getting, we'll do one in Europe, okay? Go ahead, David, please.
All right. Thank you very much, Marty. Yes. So about the Africa Investment Expo in Las Vegas, this is a platform that we setting up, and anytime that question is being asked, why Africa Investment Expo? It is not just about Africa Investment Expo, but we're setting up a platform that can be trusted for transactions across globe. Integrity is the drive for success. And you can agree with me, the players we have on board are people who has rich experience in what we're doing. And for us to restore that trust in Africa and having investors willing and ready to invest in Africa, then you need to set up a platform that people will believe in and to say, yes, I'm ready and willing to be on that platform. That is what Africa Investment Expo is about. So we are reconnecting the world back to Africa and realizing that it is the season and the time for us to restore that hope in people about development in Africa. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, David. Thank you so much. You have come on like a shining lighthouse for Africa. And if there was anybody who's hosting regular weekly events and gaining attention all across the world, I honestly would have to say it's Dr. David Douglas Tengi.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah. Any other goodbye shots before we meet again next week?
Yes, Marty, thank you very much. Just to add that as new projects come on board, we will be updating this document, and we know you will be uploading it on the Expo website. These are the major ones, and I just want to add that we have small projects that are maybe $100,000, $50,000, and it's just that we didn't bring those up here. So if anybody is looking for to invest in, and Matty will be coming to you. We have a project in the cocoa processing area, which will be looking for about 200,000. When I saw the moringa thing, I said, yes, that is it. So we have a cocoa processing adding value to cocoa, and very beautiful, tasty chocolates. Maybe if I'm able to come to the US, I will bring some personalized the wrapper personalized for Matty and Patty for I don't think you've tasted any chocolate like that in your life.
I don't think we have either. We just graduated from the Chocolate Institute in Hershey. We went up to Hershey, Pennsylvania. I was a keynote speaker up there. It was so much fun. I would think doing a Chocolate Institute, you know, part of that was a tasting, a guided tasting from a professor up at the front of the room. There must have been 80 people in that room at the Chocolate Institute, and they just kept bringing them in like every hour, Kojo. They would come in, and so I think that is something that is possible to do. A Chocolate Institute as part of a tourism.
Yeah. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and we look forward to meeting you on the other platforms and next week on this platform.
Okay, guys, we'll have a great one. Thank you so much. See you next week. We will be here again at 8 o'clock Eastern with a whole slew of different guests next week. That'll be Thursday, October 12th, part 2 of the 2-part mini-series. Have a great week and have a great weekend.
Party, is it October 12th?